looks like we are on the internet. Looks like we are there. Yep. Everything's looking good. Everything's sounding good. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another night with Scuba and
The Ry guy.
And more.
And more.
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 Yeah.
More.
More. We got a whole house tonight.
We do have a shebang, a bang, a walla walla, bing bang, bong.
So let's include everybody in this.
Yes, let's do that.
So how about we let our guests come in and unmute them?
Let them in. Let them join the club. We got
Yeah, I got a switch.
Well, if you got we got one.
I don't know if all can unmute himself.
Well, we'll see if Graza could join us, but we got ShadowManes joining us tonight.
What's up?
Hey, what's going on? What's going on, everybody? Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Remember how I said I had to change something?
What you do? Ah!
There we
got
go.
the laugh.
The voice has come in to the show.
So let's try that again. ShadowMane, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well. How you guys doing tonight?
Pretty good, you know. It's getting ready for that holiday season.
Yes, yes. Winding into the Christmas and New Year's, and also ending out the decade with a bang or
Oh,
simmer,
yeah.
shimmering, bing bang.
Oh, Jesus, everybody
What?
just left. Came back.
What?
Okay, it works now.
Yay!
There we
Now
go.
got a Graza.
Another group.
We got a Graza, we got
What's
a
up?
ShadowManes, both hanging out with us tonight. This is our holiday end of year kind of deal, because we're just going to get that announcement out of the way for anybody else, anybody who joins the stream with us watching. Is we're going to take the next 2 weeks off because it's like Christmas and New Year's, and our families would get a little upset with us if we did recording and shows instead of spent time with them. See, we got Ghost is agreeing 100% on that.
Yeah. Well, we're still
Awesome.
going to record a couple things.
Oh yes, we'll still do we'll finish out the Mandalorian review episodes, which will all go up after we get them recorded. So
Thanks for having us.
yeah. So what you guys been up to?
Shadow, you can go ahead first if you want.
Oh, well, I mean, just the usual, work, messing around with, my own streaming stuff on the side that I do.
Yeah.
And that's really been about it. That and games, lots of games.
Yeah, I caught your stream. I didn't catch your stream last night. I do apologize. But,
Oh, that's no worries.
So I remember the last one I caught. You were definitely throwing down some Halo.
I was, yes.
Which Halo?
Halo Reach on the PC.
Awesome. Yeah, very underrated game in that group of series of games. So.
Yeah, I'm very much in the mindset of I don't agree with the campaign story because I read the Reach book, but I do like the gameplay of the game itself.
Oh yeah, it's a good way for Bungie to go out on top.
Mm-hmm.
In some shape of that word. Yeah.
Well, probably laid the groundwork for Destiny because there's a lot of the mechanics seem familiar in Destiny. After
Oh
Reach.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
It does.
oh yeah.
I've been, I was a part of here in Georgia, I'm a part of a writers group,
Mhm.
and we had our yearly Christmas gathering and exchanged gifts, and I got a drawing set, it's like a bunch of nice drawing books and like stuff you can sketch in and some drawing pencils and stuff like that. Some,
It's always good to have.
What in the business we call it traditional media. Back when we didn't have computers, it was just media. Now it's traditional media.
Amazing how the tech has improved and kind of makes you appreciate the older way of doing things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's something about a actually tactile feel of a drawing in your hand that doesn't quite get it as cross as a visual one. Though the visual, like on the computers, can be quite spectacular. Something about a tactile feel that it harkens back to that old school, primitive feeling that we get, when we see things like that.
Okay. All right. Well, we got quite a few things on our show tonight. Let's see. Didn't get the chance to get you the show notes, Shadow. So just kind of jump in where you feel like. And we got for our movie section, we have a films of the decade for due to Ry reviews. Some of these actually predate the review site.
Yes, they do.
So
Quite a list, actually. I saw.
yeah, it's we got 15 films, which we'll go into. We got a review for Jumanji: The Next Level, and then some other odds and ends. And for our state of game, Ry finished Jedi Fallen Order, so that'll be a good conversation.
Yes, I did.
And I spent the weekend out at Balahak Airsoft for the Revelations 10 experience, which it was an experience. So, unfortunately, I don't have any of the video footage from that yet, but I will have that out as soon as I get it compiled.
I look forward to seeing that because the video you showed last podcast was definitely entertaining.
Yeah, that was definitely setting a good bar on that.
Oh, yeah.
And then, of course, we got a bunch of odds and ends, which we'll see if we can get to with all this other stuff we got going on.
Yeah, I do hope we get to these odds and ends because some of them are pretty.
Pretty hilarious.
Yes, one of them made me laugh out loud when I saw it.
All right, so we'll start with our what's up. We got Shadow and Graza to give us some of what they've been up to. So how about me and you? So Ry, go ahead. Tell us what you've been up to.
Nothing very big. Well,
no, just nothing at all.
Nothing,
right?
nothing that crazy. Just kind of
Not
like
have to dress up in like some cap and gown thing.
something like that. Maybe even had a tie, which is a rarity to see on me.
You with a tie?
Yes, but it was an occasion.
Dress.
No,
that's
seen that.
That's typical of me. What are you talking about? But
We've seen that.
He
twice.
got a good haircut. He was so handsome. Now he's back to normal. Look at
Yes,
his hair.
back to normal, back to regular. But I guess it was kind of a big deal.
All right, so obviously, if anyone hasn't clued in, Ry is now an official graduate.
Yes,
of ODU.
I did graduate with my
Congratulations.
bachelor's in professional writing over the weekend. So, yes, a long road. It was a long road, a lot of late nights, but I managed to get there. So now, I have my bachelor's, preparing to get into the master's program, and hopefully get to that part in my life.
Yeah.
But right now, it opens up a few new doors having that bachelor's. So hopefully, good things on the horizon.
Yeah, and for that you did
Congrats.
kind of a party over at a sushi place, right?
Yes, we went to it's a sushi buffet Japanese restaurant called Yukai. So what it is, it's a buffet. Half the buffet has sushi and all the amenities that is related to sushi, and the other half is all Japanese, Chinese. There's a Mongolian bar. There's soups. There's treats. There's everything.
Sounds like a lot of food.
Yes, it was. It was great.
I want to go.
Yeah.
Come
I
on
do too.
down.
Actually, I was invited. Unfortunately, I couldn't attend because of Rev, but I definitely think we should make a stop over there to check it out.
Yes, we definitely need to try it out, and a couple other restaurants I have on the list for you to try.
What about you, Shadow? Do you think you and the missus will want to join us for that?
Yeah, I think that would be a lot of fun, actually.
Oh yeah, unlimited eats.
All right.
Unlimited eats.
So, anything else good, or was that kind of the big thing?
That was
Don't mind Saladin
Okay.
in the background. He's just a klutz.
Can confirm.
anything else big over the weekend? Nothing really, other than just the graduation. Other than that, just clearing my mind and getting ready for, because the next big thing is to take this test that I need to finish out my master's application. But other than that, I did kind of start dabbling back in some side writing stories that I've been pushed to the wayside. So you remember I said I finished my inspiration book.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have 2 more sections to finish on my romantic novel. I did kind of write one of the sections last night. Because once I get an idea, I don't want to stop, and then it's really late, and I was like, I do have to get up to go to work. But at least I got part of it done. So.
All right. Let's see.
I think. Can I jump in with
Go for
something
it.
that's sort of related? All right.
for
So
it.
my oldest son graduated from high school.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
he's got his diploma. Thank you. And we also went to like a hibachi and sushi place as well. It's crazy. It's like Fujiana's. It's really nice.
Seems that's a good.
And-
That's a good habit, and especially in
Yeah.
this day.
And so my youngest was with us as well, and he's never been to a hibachi place before. He also has autism too, so when they lit up the grill and the flames jumped off the thing, he jumped out of his seat and jumped in his mom's lap and was like, ah! He's 9. Yeah, the reaction was great. But we're really proud of my oldest for finally finishing all of that. And also, Ry, if you need some information about like how to self-publish or anything like that, just let me know. My mom has published like at least 10 to 15 books by herself, and is an avid author, and also part of an author's writers group as well. If you need people to like review your work, or if you need an editor or anything like that, just let me know.
Oh yeah, I will definitely need that, because I have published 2 poetry books through Lulu.com. But now I wanted to expand, and I have stories I want to put out there, so I just want to have people look at it, because this romantic novel is number 2, because I did write another one a while ago and just haven't found a way to, just haven't put it out there to read yet, but it's there, so I definitely will need some contacts.
Yes, if you want to go ahead and
yes,
if you want to go ahead and check out Marketing for Romance Authors, that's a group that she has on, I think, Google, or was a Yahoo thing, but now it's its own page. It's just called MFRW, or Marketing for Romance Authors.
Okay. Definitely message me.
Yeah, toss that in the Discord channel to him, or send him a message on that. That'd be great.
Will do.
Let's see.
What about you?
Me? Oh,
yes.
Wow.
I know you had that big...
I got a couple of things going on.
Yes.
All right. Let's kind of rattle this off from Friday through today.
Woo! Rewind.
All right. So, actually, no. Thursday to today.
Okay.
Because Thursday night is where this whole train started picking up steam and just cruised.
There we go.
So, obviously, I mentioned before, I don't know if I mentioned on here a whole lot, but rejoined the bowling league.
Yes, I do remember that.
Did that a few years ago. One of our former coworkers, we called him Mr. President.
Mr. President.
He's the president of one of the leagues over at Pinboys at the beach.
Okay.
Well, our former coworker Craig Litt got me involved, and we did that. And then 3 years later, I decided to go back and do it again. Well, the team I'm on was called No Quarter. Every week we take one of the 3 games, and if we can't close the frame with either a strike or a spare, we pay it a quarter. Yeah. Anyways, so one of the guys on my team is one of the managers at Pinboys.
Okay.
And we were talking about how they were looking for people, and they were looking for a dishwasher. So I went, so what are you looking for in a dishwasher? I asked. He says, teenager, young kid. I was like, I happen to have a teenager with nothing better to do this time. So one thing led to another, and now Top Shelf has a job, his first job.
That's awesome.
So he had his first shift over the weekend. So he got to experience the working life as a dishwasher in a bowling alley.
So he's a dishwasher at Pinboys?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, that's kind of a hike from here, but hey, gotta get him started somehow, you know.
Hey, I worked in a bakery in high school, so I completely understand.
We all remember that first job we did, where it was just like grinding through things.
But high school with money is definitely prime.
Oh yeah, so we made a great deal with him on that, but he actually enjoys it.
Yep.
Feels that he fits in with the group. Downside is Teens on Parade group is going to take a hiatus while we work out some scheduling. So not going to see that returning in 2020 as soon as we thought, but we'll kind of go from there. Which leads us into the weekend, which was Revelations at Battletech Airsoft. This was their 10th Rev event, and this event is absolutely nothing like I was expecting. It was far, far different.
Different in a good or bad
different
way?
In a great way.
Okay.
I mean, this is normally you see airsoft fields and you see airsoft, these military simulation type things. No, Rev is all role play.
Okay.
There's factions that wander around. I kind of got a Division vibe. Could have been the group of people that were dressed as Division agents, maybe. There was a group in kilts. There was a group in like 20s prep mobster stuff. There was your Wasteland Mad Max. I mean, it was all over the place, and it was just kind of wandering and interacting. It was all role play. It was very, very LARP, very LARP, but it was enjoyable. There wasn't any major issues. few firefights break out from here from time to time, but there was a twist at the end there.
What kind of twists?
The twist was an hour before the end of the day, the angels of death were released.
That doesn't sound very good.
Oh no, these guys look pretty funny. Well, I mean, they were immortal, so you couldn't shoot them. It didn't matter. If they touched you, you were out for the rest of the day. You're done. So an hour. So they had one up in the north that would be kind of whatever. But I'll get into more of that later. I don't want to go off the rails. But that's how the weekend went. I spent 50 hours on the field.
That's a lot of hours.
Well, I also got a little sick in the process.
Yeah.
So apologize for the coughing. I'm still getting over it. And then, yet today, had a doctor's appointment. One of my twice a year follow-ups at this point. And did the weigh-in, and I came in at 370 pounds. So that is 20 pounds less than my last my last appointment 6 months ago. So I'm feeling a little stoked by that, especially, because I'm a big guy trying to be a small guy.
Yeah, that's an accomplishment. The weight you lose, you feel
Congrats.
better about yourself. You feel like you can get out there, get more active, and all that good thing.
Oh yeah, you really want to hear something crazy. I checked my activity log for the weekend, and yeah, let's see. Saturday, I clicked off 19. No, that's the calories. No, clicked off 19,000 steps, roughly 7.9 miles. Sunday, I clicked out 20,000 steps and almost 8.5 miles. Wandering, doing that.
A lot of walking, but definitely worth it.
Oh yeah, it was totally worth it. I got some great footage, so a lot of craziness going on. That's kind of my big things that happened. The rest of it was just kind of recovering and then kind of hanging out with the guys on the field, checking out the campfire. I mean, it was raining, but people were still barbecuing and having a grand old time.
Oh yeah, it does sound like it was a very, very exciting time out there.
Definitely. There's a lot of video floating around Facebook, especially if you go to the Ballahat community page on Facebook. You can see a lot of that video there, and then some other videos released. You'll see several bits of the angels.
Yeah, just the fact that there was angels of death out there just get inside chuckle. It's like that instant kill and that monster that you try to fight in a game.
Oh yeah, no, it was pretty intense. It was pretty intense. It was great. But yeah, that was my weekend or my week, your week. You guys have anything else interesting that happened over the week? What about you, Shadow? Anything really interesting?
No, nothing really interesting. A lot of my days on the weekends are usually spent hanging out with family or just vegging out because the work week is long.
Yes, your commute is so stressed.
It's so rough. Traffic is terrible in the morning.
Nothing crazy here either. Just put kid on the bus, relax and wait for him to get home.
That's good to go. All right. Well, with that, we'll go ahead and roll into movies.
Oh yeah.
So we'll start off with talking about your latest review, which was Jumanji: The Next Level.
Jumanji, The Next Level, exactly as you say it.
So, have you guys seen this one yet?
I have not.
Have you seen the last one with The Rock and all them?
Nope, I haven't seen that one either.
Okay.
Yeah, same. Sorry.
No, it's good. It's interesting because I went into watching the second one kind of okay. How's this? Because it's a really tough job to follow a Robin Williams performance.
It is definitely with Welcome. When the first trailer dropped for Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle, there was a lot of apprehension out there in the movie sphere. Like people felt like that they would be tripping over their toes. They would do Robin Williams, not do him justice. But it was a pleasant surprise. Welcome to the Jungle was a pleasant surprise because what they did is what a lot of filmmakers don't try to do because they're too scared, and that's go in a new direction.
Okay.
With the material. and that's what they did with Welcome to the Jungle. Instead of the beast and everything coming out, they get sucked into the game and become the avatars and all the hilarity that ensues.
Okay.
And it finds a way to tie back to the original Jumanji.
Yes.
The Welcome to the Jungle did. Very small but very poignant kind of hint to what happened.
All right, so the next level.
The next level.
Is it a good level or a bad level? Tell me about it.
Jumanji: The Next Level is a cookie cutter standard sequel that you would find in any kind of like trilogy of adventure films. So it's like the next chapter, but that doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It just means it's the next chapter.
Well, we've had a lot of sequels that kind of didn't make the mark this year.
Oh yeah.
So tell me what you liked about it.
Okay. Just a general plot point.
Yeah.
General plot. We revisit the same teenagers again, and what happens is that one of the teenagers, Spencer, goes back into the game, and his 3 friends have to go in to rescue him.
But they're not alone this time.
No.
The cast is added by adding Danny Glover.
Yes.
And Danny DeVito.
Yes. So Danny DeVito plays Spencer's grandfather, Eddie, and Danny Glover plays his best friend, Milo. So they get sucked into the game along with the original cast of Martha, Bethany, and Fridge. But there's a twist.
Oh, really? What's the twist?
They aren't the same avatars when they get sucked into the game.
That's right, because Milo ends up as The Rock.
No, Milo ends up as Kevin Hart's character, which is Danny Glover.
And Danny DeVito's character
is The Rock.
Oh, Lord.
So, what you have is a film that rehashes the same kind of outline like the first, but they do enough original flavors with new characters, different twists on the avatars, and embracing new environments and new challenges that it makes the adventure still as welcoming as the first, but not as refreshing as the first, because there's a very much a predictable point A to B kind of scenario with the adventure, because you're on a rescue mission. So you know exactly what they got to do. They have to go find Spencer's character, but also do the same exact thing they did in the first film. Get a hold of this certain jewel so they can save Jumanji again.
Okay. All right, so it sounds like we're second verse, same as the first.
Yeah.
Going through that, anything where it really kind of shines compared to the original, or I wouldn't say the original, but the second installment?
What makes this film just as enjoyable as the first is the witty dialogue and the interaction between the characters. And the one thing that I give it a plus over Welcome to the Jungle is that you actually see progression of the characters. So when they go back into the game, it's like they have to deal with illusion of grandeur, growing up, and past decisions. So they actually have to face their own reality within the virtual reality. So when they have to come to terms with their own selves, they realize the truths of their own destiny when they are in the real world. Because all the kids have moved on to college, so they're at a crossroads of, trying to find themselves. So they're able to find themselves while going back into the game.
Okay.
So that plus that extra characterization does add a little bit more fluff to the excitement, even if the journey does feel lethargic, because it's the same kind of beat by beat kind of thing like the first.
Okay. So, what's the final review on this?
Final review, it is a fun, enjoyable time at the theaters. It is a good, film to see with the family or just friends if you're fans of the first. So I say it's worth seeing at the theaters, but as a matinee.
Okay.
3.5 out of 5.
3.5. That's better than some of the sequels we're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, by all means, go check out the review at ryreviews.com. That and the other reviews. And with that, we're going to talk about this list you curated, films of the decade.
Yes, so this is actually my first time doing a films of the decade, but also at the same time it is the first because I'd started my official reviews in 2012, but I went back to 2010, so it encompasses the whole decade. So looking back at all the films I reviewed, along with the 2 years that I didn't, but I still had films from those years that I liked, I had to think about what makes a film worth putting on a list called Films of the Decade.
Okay.
It can't just be, just my favorite, because there's a lot of films that I enjoy watching, but they're not all great and gravy and all that stuff. They're just, guilty pleasure films. So you
All
definitely had like John Wick. I love John Wick, but I don't think it didn't make my films of the decade list because it wasn't that kind of like memorable kind of film. Like it's got to be upper echelon kind of thing.
Alright.
So it affects the genre, it's the journey, it's being able to escape into the fantastical or the romantic or the dramatic or the scary.
Okay. So we have this list of 15 films in no particular order.
No particular order. I just listed 15. So
Alright.
number 1.
No, we're gonna
To
go
number
from the bottom.
15.
We're gonna go with 15 and work our way up.
Yep.
If you guys have seen any of these films, we'll definitely want to get your take on them. We're gonna start
Okie dokie.
with our first film. First film on the list is Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Scott Pilgrim versus the World. It is one that was kind of a surprise when it came out, but also the reason it made my decades list is because of the genre bending that film was. So it was able to meld the comic book, the video game, and also colorful characters that you don't even that bend the tropes of what you expect in kind of these action adventure films.
All right. Well, have you guys seen that one?
Yes.
I have seen Scott Pilgrim.
All right.
Go ahead, Shadow.
Definitely opening up to you guys. What do you, Shadow? What'd you think of it?
I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. I'd never read any of the Scott Pilgrim. I guess they're graphic novels or are they comics? I forget which one it is.
They're a mixture of both, I think.
Oh, okay. But I've never read any of them, but I fully did enjoy that movie. That's yeah.
Graza,
I
what
thought
about
it
you? What are
was,
your thoughts?
As far as I really enjoyed how they choreographed all of the fight scenes in the movie. I'm more of a kind of connoisseur of those kind of really awesome fight scenes. It felt epic, it felt over the top, and all the colorfulness of it. It was a visual ride that I was blown away by, and I look forward to seeing it again.
Yeah, it was definitely. They did something that pulls me. The one thing that can pull me in is put the realism in the fantastical, and they made everything believable, even when it was so outrageous to the point that it just made you go WTF.
My favorite thing from that is the cameos and the way each character, small or large, really kind of had some element that really struck you.
The vegan police. Enough
The
said.
vegan police was the best.
Yes.
I had that scene rolling through my head. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
that was pretty awesome.
What did he say? Chicken's not vegan? Was that one of the
No,
lines?
something else.
It was
The guy
something.
goes, milk and egg.
Yeah.
Family show. So we're not gonna finish that line.
Drop it like it's hot. On to the next one.
Alrighty, our next film in this is that's definitely one. Inception.
Inception is by far my favorite Christopher Nolan film out of all his slate of films. I know a lot of people like to go back to Memento and say that that was his first, but it was like the one that people said defined his career.
Memento is like a sleeper cult hit.
Yeah,
for
sleeper
me.
cult hit, but
I have seen Memento. Amazing.
yeah, it is amazing. I have all of Nolan's films. He is my favorite director, but this is the film that I think is his film because it captures the essence of a creative genius at work where he is able to blossom but not go too far beyond, where it becomes unexplainable. And the ending just is so ambiguous to the point of where people are still trying to find answers to this day.
Huh. I full disclosure, I have not seen it yet. And
Okay.
I haven't made time to watch it yet. So I don't care about spoilers on this because it's been out long enough. Deal with it. But what about you guys? Have you guys checked this one out?
I also have not seen it yet.
You should definitely
Memento
check it out.
Memento is amazing because it starts at the very end of the story and works all the way to the beginning.
Oh yeah.
What about Inception? Inception.
You're staying within the decade.
Inception, however, is a very awesome film where you have a very heady, the guy's always like questioning if he's in a dream or not, or something like that. And the visuals are pretty amazing. It has like a kind of sort of like a Matrix-esque kind of feel to it, but also the story is quite amazing. I was very, very pleased with it, and the soundtrack is
That
amazing.
soundtrack, I can
Hans
tell
Zimmerman.
you, that
Amazing.
soundtrack is a fun soundtrack to drive to on long drives.
Yes, absolutely.
Alrighty. Well, our next one in here is The Favorite.
The favorite.
Favorite.
It's just another way that they write it in Old English.
Oh.
I didn't misspell it. That is actually how
I
you
actually have
spell
to
it.
double check it. 'Cause
If you go to the
That looks like the British spelling of favorite.
Yeah, see?
yeah. See, you got
Yes,
it. You got
correct.
it. Thank you.
I have not even heard of this one.
This
so-
is actually a film that came out last year near the tail end, but was one of the top films that was garnering a lot of awards around the, the movie circuit. So it is a period piece, but what makes this period piece such prime is that it's very dark and satirical, and it actually represents the rawness of how royalty can be a bunch of petty jerks, but in a way that it makes you laugh hysterically, to where they combine Old English but make it sound very, like redneckish. So it's very odd. I can bring it over and we can watch it one day. It is definitely.
I'm trying to visualize this.
And
Old English that sounds like redneck. The two just.
no, it's basically like idiocracy of arrogance, but with Old English. So it's like ta, but really down to the, they're just yelling at each other.
All right. What about you guys? Have you heard of this one or seen this one?
Never heard of
I
it.
have not, unfortunately.
See, there you go.
Yeah.
There's one in the tally for obscure movies only Ry has seen.
It is very obscure.
Oh, right
It's
now
very-
we're one in the tally.
Yeah, but it is obscure.
Because I've heard of Inception. Of course I've seen Scott Pilgrim, but this one I haven't heard of it. All right, next one on the list. Call Me by Your Name. I have a feeling this is going to be in the second mark in the tally, but we'll wait and see.
It's another indie film but it's another small indie film, and it focuses on it's like a coming of age romantic drama, but it focuses on this teenage boy who spends the summer in Italy, and he grows fond of this guy, and it's one of those kind of like unforgettable kind of summer kind of things.
When did this one come out?
It came out in 2017.
Okay, so this is a couple years old.
Yeah, so basically it's one of those kind of like slice of life movies where you just kind of watch and just enjoy just watching people live.
Okay.
And you focus, it's a coming of age because you watch this kid as he experiences a romance for the first time, and it's very odd and obscure to him, but he's just kind of like embracing it. Plus it's like a summer away, so he kind of just comes to find himself.
Okay.
So it's a really good romantic film, but one in a way where it's very subtle and very just focused on the characters. So,
All right.
and it put the actor Timothy Chalamet on the map, if you know who that is.
All right. Now we'll take it to the rest of our crew tonight. It's like, have you guys heard of this film?
Shadow?
Have not heard of this either.
Yeah.
Oh, that's two in there, Mark.
Unfortunately.
It's a very
Add another
very
six
small
on the box.
indie film. The one thing that you're gonna know about this list is that I love indie films.
But the thing is, you give every film a fair shake.
Yes, and you saw the list, so it's a variety. So it is definitely a big variety.
All right,
list.
next one, which if anyone in this room has not heard of it, y'all just need to GFO right now.
Yeah, I kind of cheated on this, but it makes sense because to me it is an encompassing of everything as a whole.
Well, it is. It's pretty much the decade.
Yeah.
Just starting, and that is Avengers: Infinity War / Endgame. So this is that whole story.
Yeah.
Start to finish.
Yeah. And the reason I combined this, and I kind of cheated because
because technically it's two films.
Yeah. But another podcast I listened to kind of cheated too and did the same thing.
Oh.
But the reason I put this one, and I put this one over the first Avengers, is because this one, like you said, encompasses the culmination of a decade of films, a decade worth of story. It brings everything together at one finite moment to an extravaganza that comic book geeks never could have imagined would ever happen. That's pretty much all I have to say.
What do you guys think? Is that pretty much a mic drop at that?
Oh, snap.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I haven't seen either of the movies yet myself, but I do know a lot of what happens. But to deny like the I guess the modern comic book, like the modern comic superhero movie genre, to deny the type of impact it's had on that culture would literally be selling it short, like heavily.
Oh.
I agree.
It had a massive impact, just that alone.
Yeah, it's a cultural phenomenon. So.
I have seen both, and I can tell you that both the effects and all the stuff that went into making that really kind of like set the bar high for films in that genre.
Yeah, I think it set a lot of things because that whole MCU spawned all the other studios to try to do their own shared universes. Some of them are successful, some-ish, some not so much.
Yeah, but it does give it did spawn, where other studios challenge themselves to try to make something different. Like you have Logan and Deadpool, and now you have Joker. It's just, it pushes the other studios to not just make a comic book movie, but make a story worth telling with comic book elements.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. The best films in this whole bit of the MCU are films that tell a story that adds comic elements.
Yes.
Like Ant-Man was a heist movie with comic book elements. That it was successful because they didn't beat down on the comic book part. They told a totally different story, just added these elements into it. So
Winter Soldier is another one.
Yep, that's a great one. It's the whole conspiracy and spies. All right, next one happens to be a breakout, and that is Get Out.
Get Out was by far one of my favorite movies when it came out in 2017, but also it is one of the best use of combining genres. So it was able to tell a horror film, but through social commentary, but not in a way where you would beat somebody over the head with a message or not. It was just so well directed, so well written. The characters just made you feel the eeriness of the situation.
That had such a twist at the end.
And what makes this film such a great horror movie is that knowing it going into the second time makes it scarier.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Knowing what they were doing and then watching it the second time, you're just like, this is pretty messed up.
And the thing is the guy who directed it, we know him for comedy.
Yeah.
And he's come out, and now he just it's like, yeah, I can tell a joke, but oh, hey, check this out. I'm going to guarantee I'm going to scare the
And
crap out
it's
of you.
actually helped bridge him into other avenues. So we have Us, we have The Twilight Zone, and he's also doing another series on Amazon, which I cannot remember the name right now, but I would definitely check it out when it comes out.
All right, what about you guys? Have you guys had a chance to check this one out?
I've seen bits and pieces of the movie, but I haven't actually sat down and watched the whole movie. But from what I've seen, I actually really like the directing style that Jordan Peele is using to put these movies together.
Yeah, it's a very much about face, and he just focuses on the characters, but lets the story progress through their own kind of emotional weight of what fractures them as humans.
Right,
So-
right.
What
Yeah,
about you,
horror is not my cup of tea, unfortunately. Well, unfortunately,
I can agree with that. I'm not a big horror movie person.
I'll
But you
pass
have
on
ventured
that
out with
one.
with Dr. Sleep.
Yeah, I did go watch Dr. Sleep with you, so I am attempting to broaden my horizon. I have not watched Get Out yet.
I know.
I have seen The Shining, and I am interested in Dr. Sleep, only because it
I think you would enjoy it. If you like The Shining and even read the novel, it does a good combination of both. But we
Which, check that out.
Yeah.
This kind of derails. So,
Yeah.
All right, next one is called Your Name.
Your Name is actually an anime film.
Oh.
And it was one that was released during the decade, and I think it was the best one that was released during the decade. Because it captures the essence of what makes the genre great anime. So it focuses on these two characters that the initial premise is that they body swap. So the guy becomes the girl and the girl becomes the guy. But it evolves beyond that premise and becomes more about focus on character, love, time travel, and also the essence of friendship.
It sounds like an anime.
So it does. It pulls from every great thing that anime does and pushes it through the characterization of these two individuals. So it does the one thing that I definitely enjoy. It gives you that escape and makes you feel the realism and the fantastical. So definitely, if you're a big anime fan, I would check out this film. Your Name.
All right.
I have been dying to see this movie ever since I heard about it. I have.
Are you a big? You're a big anime fan?
I certainly am. Yes.
Okay, I would say definitely watch it. It had me in tears twice.
I've seen The Place Furthest from, or The Place Promised to Us in Our Younger Days, Voices of a Distant Star, and there was another one that was like, I can't remember, it was like had a violin and some other things.
I do know the dude, that person that directed this does have another film coming out in January that I'm definitely going to watch.
What about you, Shadow? You heard about this one or seen this one?
I have heard of Your Name. I'm a big anime fan too, but I don't get to watch a lot of the anime movies a lot of times, just because they have a extremely limited release in U.S. theaters around here.
I agree.
But this one is one that's been on my list since it was announced. Like, the art style from everything that I've seen is just absolutely stunning. It's the animation quality for it just looks absolutely gorgeous, and I've been hearing like incredible things about the story for it.
Oh yeah. Like you said about limited release, the second when it said it had its U.S. like in the theaters, I went because it was only in the theaters for like a week. It is out on Blu-ray, so if you definitely wanted to pick it up, you can get it on Blu-ray.
Yeah, but there's something. But the thing is a theater experience is definitely a lot more memorable.
Oh yeah.
If you can do it.
Oh yeah.
I remember one. I haven't seen a lot of anime. One of the few anime movies I have seen, and I think this is the only one I've ever actually seen in theaters, it was the U.S. release of the first Naruto movie. Something in the Snow or something like that. That's the only one I've seen in a theater, and that experience is definitely worth it.
Yeah, it's a fantastic experience.
I saw Princess Mononoke in theaters.
That is one of my
amazing.
favorite animes.
Nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're touching my heart right now. You're touching my heart.
Alrighty.
I regularly see Ghibli films whenever they re-release them in the theaters. So
Nice.
Yes.
All right, our next one on the list is Hell or High Water.
This is one of those films that it came out in 2016, and it came out during August, and it came out in one of those low months. But it was one of those kind of like hidden gems. Kind of like
what genre is this?
This one is what you would call a modern day western. So what it is, it takes place in modern day, but it follows a lot of the familiar tropes and character arcs that you find in old westerns. So it's basically a modern day western. That's a very newer genre. It is one that this film did, Logan did, etc., etc. So you find these two brothers that are doing these heists in Texas, and the twist is that they're robbing banks that rob their family.
Oh, this is the one with Chris Pine and
Ben Foster.
Ben Foster, the another one.
And Jeff Bridges
That's
is
Jeff
the
Bridges.
sheriff that's chasing him down. But that twist about like they're not robbing, for the sake of robbing. They're basically robbing to save their home.
So it's kind of a Robin Hood thing.
It's a mixture of Robin Hood, but no, they're doing it for their family.
Okay.
So, but what I describe this film, it's like a fine wine. Like, you watch it and you're like, oh, this is great. But the more time you watch it, the better the film gets, because what you see is that the relationship between the brothers, and then also between Jeff Bridges' sheriff and his partner, Alberto, it's a matter of watching their relationships evolve through the film.
Okay.
As they get closer to the ultimate climax where they have to face off against each other. And it culminates in a very poignant moment where decisions have true consequences, but sometimes you have to make those decisions because of family.
Fair enough. What about you guys? Have you seen this one or heard of this one?
I have not seen it or heard of it.
I just heard about it, and I think I want to go see it because I love Jeff Bridges. He's awesome.
Jeff Bridges is at his best in this movie. Like, he won the Oscar for Crazy Heart for Best Actor, but I think this is the next best role that he's done in quite some time.
Okay. Alright, our next one is Inside Out. Is this the Pixar?
Yes, this is the Pixar film.
Ah, okay.
About the emotions of the 13-year-old girl.
Yeah, that one was definitely a breath of fresh air from a whole story perspective.
Okay, leading up onto this movie, Pixar was doing a lot of sequels and stuff, so people thought Pixar was kind of losing its edge. And then they're like, oh no, we're going to drop you this unique original tale about capturing the emotions of a 13-year-old girl. And out of all the films that have come out this decade, even including Toy Story 4, which got a 5 out of 5 from me this year, this was the one out of all the pickings that got on this list because of the refreshing take of originality, not being a sequel, and it puts to the forefront of what makes Pixar a great movie studio. Not an animated studio, a movie studio. Because they put forward a story that was worth telling, that was unique to the point that shows that you can take anything that is odd, unique, and colorful and make it poignant and real to the core.
Okay. What do you guys think?
So I'd seen Inside Out. I thought it was nice, but I don't think too highly of it either. I just took it as a typical Pixar movie.
Well, I mean, the perspective's different. Like,
the perspective is definitely different. It's just, I don't know, it wasn't one of my favorite Pixar movies.
What is your favorite Pixar film?
Probably the first Incredibles, actually.
That is a lot of people's pick. So, touche.
And that was an original story, too.
Yeah.
What about you, Graza? You seen Inside Out?
I have only heard about it and seen some of the memes, but it's something I would like to see.
Yeah. I know definitely being a parent watching that is it's a little interesting, so it's definitely a good one to watch. Alright, next one, which is another one I haven't personally seen, but it's definitely one that is well worth noting, and that is Birdman.
Yeah, Birdman, or the full title, Birdman or the Unexpected Virtue of Ignorance.
I'll stick with the shorthand version and just say Birdman, and that is Michael Keaton, right?
Yeah, it was the film that gave Michael Keaton the spotlight because it put him back at the forefront of great acting, great ability, and it's like a mockumentary of the superhero genre because this film is definitely the truest definition of what you call a black comedy because what happens in this film, it's all focused on the characters and how they interact on this play.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not much more about what is happening around them, but what is happening to them. So all the foley, all the interactions, all the just dialogue is what makes it, and also the way they filmed it. They filmed it in a one shot, so the camera angle is constantly focused on something. So it's moving from one place to place. Because you know when you watch films, there's transitions from scene to scene. There's no transition. It's just one shot the whole way through. So that's another reason that makes this film such a rarity to watch, because you're just seeing a constant story in motion.
Okay. What about you guys? Have you guys seen Birdman?
Have not.
I saw an interesting YouTube video about how they were able to actually composite all those shots together, and the how a overarching narrative, like the continual shot, played into narrative story for movies and stuff like that. It looks like something I'd like to see, but I found that was a really neat trick that they did.
Okay, so 3 of us haven't seen it.
Yeah. Does that throw up on that list again?
No. It has to be a movie that the 3 of us have never heard of.
Oh, never heard of.
Like,
So only 2. 2 of the 15.
Right.
Two
I got
so far.
one for you.
Okay.
Run Lola Run. Have you seen that one?
Yeah, I've seen it, but it's been a long time.
Okay. Yeah, it's a long time for me too.
Yeah.
All right, next one. We're in our top 5 here, or the last 5 here. Or not top, because this was in no particular order.
No.
12 Years a Slave.
12 Years a Slave. I think the quintessential definition of what you call a true period piece biographical film.
Okay.
Because this captures, focuses on Solomon Northup, and it's based on his memoirs of when he was taken hostage and brought back down to the South and put back into slavery for 12 years. So it just chronicles his journey of trying to survive all those years as a slave until he could make it back to his family.
Okay.
And this film is very hard to watch, very daunting to watch, but that emotional worth will give you a good vividness of history, human decency, and also the will to survive. Because he didn't know if he would ever escape, because he was taken back. He was taken to the South. So, he had no way of contacting anyone or anything. So he really had to go out on a limb to trust somebody to get the news back to the North.
Okay.
So.
Well, this is another one I haven't seen.
Yeah.
But obviously, there's quite a few movies I have not seen compared to you.
But yeah, it's a very strong cast. You got Chiwetel Ejiofor, Michael Fassbender. It put Lupita Nyong'o on the map. She actually won the Oscar for best supporting actress in here. And in another strong cast, you have Brad Pitt, Benedict Cumberbatch, Paul Dano, a bunch of other characters, Paul Giamatti, and you basically see them in roles you never would have seen them in before.
Okay, what about you guys? Have you seen 12 Years a Slave?
Have not seen it, but I've heard great things about it.
Okay.
Also, same. It's not exactly like the whole premise of the thing is fascinating, but actually sitting through and watching that is kind of cringe. So
it's a hard watch, but for a film of a decade, it's one of those kind of it's like Schindler's List, Apocalypse Now, films that are hard to watch, but they are one of those cinematic classics.
Yeah, but I'm gonna make the argument that Schindler's List is it can be a little daunting and disturbing, but that's to me a little bit easier to digest than anything that really goes a little too gritty with slavery in the South during that period, because there's a lot, I guess it's a little too close to home compared to whatnot, because it's such a volatile topic. So
yeah, I think it's true in the sense that it's volatile, but it is something that has to be brought up.
Oh, don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
anybody who ignores what happened is doing themselves a disservice, because, as the adage says, if you do not learn from history, you are doomed to repeat it.
Yes. Yeah.
Indeed.
And the reason I picked that one, because it is the one that it represents it at the core, and it's one that you watch once and then
you're done.
You're done.
Alrighty.
Even though I have it in my collection.
Of course.
Yeah.
And the next one here is The Wolf of Wall Street.
Man, this film was one of the best experiences I ever had in the theater. Me and my brother laughed our butts off in this film. This captures the essence of what makes Martin Scorsese a great director. He takes the attitude of all his gangster films, but puts it in an environment that you would totally not believe it was possible, and that's on Wall Street. And the film focuses on the memoirs of Jordan Belfort, who pretty much wreaks havoc all over Wall Street and just kind of bends it to his will.
Okay.
But
I know this is. I've seen there's been quite a bit on this one, so it's. From what I understand, it is a wild ride.
This is a wild ride. It is an insane ride, and it is basically, it showcases the strength of Leonardo DiCaprio as a leading actor. Even though he didn't win the award for this, he won it for The Revenant. The Revenant. But this is another one where he could have clearly won the award.
Okay. What about you guys? Have you seen Wolf of Wall Street?
I have not.
Getting that trend here.
Sorry, but nope.
No, it's fair. It's fair. I mean, at the very least, maybe when we're done with the list, there'll be several of these you're actually going to want to go see to kind of sit there and banter and debate Ry's opinions on.
Sure. Yeah, there's already a few. Yeah.
All right. Next one on our list is Spotlight.
Spotlight, it is a film. It came out in 2015. It won Best Picture that year. And also, it is another kind of biographical drama film, but it is one that made the list because of its writing.
Okay.
Its ensemble cast, in a way, it takes truth and reporting to the extreme to where you feel the emotions. This is the first film I've ever seen where it made you, an adrenaline rush like an action film, but just watching reporters report, investigate, interview. And it's just, the way they capture that is with the interactions, the dialogue, and the writing. And in my review that I wrote when I wrote this review, it is pretty much the best written script I have seen in the last 10 years because it's so tight, it's so focused. It makes every single point of every scene and every character important to them uncovering the truth. So the story centers around the Boston Globe, where they uncover the child molestation scandal in the Catholic Church.
Ah.
So the slow revelation of everything that happens in it, it's not mind-numbing, but it puts you on a rush. And then when the truth comes out, it's just kind of like emotional and daunting, and you feel it through all the characters in the film.
Okay.
So some of the big name actors, you have Mark Ruffalo, Michael Keaton, Rachel McAdams, Liv Schreiber are some of the big names in that film.
All right. Well, I'd hate to tell you, man, but I have not heard of this one.
Yeah.
Guys, what about you? Spotlight?
I never heard of it either, but it does sound interesting to watch.
Oh yeah, it was a very big movie that came out that year, and it won Best Picture. So
I have heard of this one, and I've seen a lot of the reporting that's gone on this kind of topic here in America. So there's this recently the Pope actually removed the secrecy rule for child abuse or any kind of abuse thing. So now priests are no longer not allowed to speak about it. If someone confesses to them that there is of abuse or something like that, they are duty bound now to go and talk to the police.
Well,
that's a good thing.
Alrighty. So 2 out of 3. So this one does not make the tally list. Next one is The Perks of Being a Wallflower.
When it comes to film, like I love dark comedies, I love satire, and the other kind of film that draws me to the theater is coming of age films. So if you ever look at any of my top 10 year ends list, there's always one coming of age film on that list. And this is by far, out of all the coming of age films that's come out this past decade, from 8th grade to Lady Bird to Edge of 17, this is the one that made me feel like I was back in high school again. The Perks, even though it takes place in the 80s, it still made me feel like I was back in high school in the early 2000s.
Okay.
And it focuses on a young boy named Charlie he suffers from clinical depression, but he finds his place within these odd, group of, outcasts in the film. One character, Sam, played by Emma Watson, and her stepbrother, Patrick, played by Ezra Miller. And you just kind of watch, it's like a slice of life, but you also watch the progression of these characters and their relationship grow, but you also watch Charlie as he has a very fragile mentality because he's clinically depressed. So it's a balance between, finding yourself, having hope, and just fighting against all those the depressions that happen as a teenager.
It seems depression is a lot more prevalent in this day and age.
And it highlights the significance of depression, and it highlights having a good cast of people around you to pull you out of that depression.
Okay.
So, but the core of the film is living your life again in high school, and that's why it made the decade list, because it just pulls me back to high school, pulls me back to certain times that I will never forget.
Okay.
So,
well, I'd say I hadn't heard of this one, but it does sound like it'd be worth a watch.
Yeah, it came out in
2012. What about you guys?
I've heard of it, but I never gave it a watch.
Okay.
As someone with major depressive disorder, this actually sounds really good. I've never heard about this, so I'd like to see how the character transitions through experiencing this kind of thing. So I'm definitely it's going to be on my list now.
It has a very lot of oddities and a lot of quirks, but it's that odd and quirkiness that it just, if you know, teenagers have a lot of follies and flaws, and like they have different angst and different levels of moods, and it encompasses that without being too outrageous and too cliche. It just kind of like focuses on the slice of life, focuses on this character, and you see why he is depressed for certain ways, but also he has that support that pulls him out of it.
Because that's the biggest thing for anybody who has to deal with depression is the support.
That's
support.
Oh yes, absolutely.
You don't have.
But
enough.
I definitely it's one of those, if you like coming of age film at least the slightest bit, this one will pull you back.
Okay. All right. Last film in the list, which I'm sorry, I'm gonna call Shenanigans. I know why it's number one because I know you.
Oh yeah,
And
it's
that
number one
is
coincidentally, but not number one of the list.
Coincidence.
But not number one of the decade. It's just number one on this list.
And that is Drive.
Just Kyle,
Wait. Before you get into going in, because this is your jam.
Yeah, you go.
I'm gonna
You
put
go.
it out to the guys first.
Yeah.
Have you heard of Drive? Have you seen Drive?
I have heard of Drive, but I did not watch Drive.
I have not heard or seen yet.
All right. Now you have your chance to make your case as to why this is a good film.
Drive, I'm going to just put it out there. I'm very biased because this is my favorite movie of all time. It is by far the reason why it's my favorite movie of all time, because it captures the essence of what makes filming and storytelling great. It combines action, drama, character development, and just the wholesomeness of being ironic with the volatility of a person dealing with certain things in their life, from relationships to struggling to stay on their toes because of money reason, and also dealing with the volatility of shady characters. And watching this character, who is played by Ryan Gosling, trying to survive as a stunt double, but also working as a criminal for hire as a getaway driver, it's just so great just seeing how like that hardiness of the one side be complemented by the relationship with this one girl.
Okay.
And it puts to the forefront of how to tackle cliche tropes and archetypes, but just letting characters breathe through the writing.
Okay.
It is one of the best written scripts I've ever seen displayed on the screen. It doesn't push forward, one aspect, like the car chases. It's just kind of there. The fights are kind of there. The grotesque, gruesome scenes are just kind of there, and they all just kind of mold together into just one motion of a journey.
Okay.
So.
All right, you had me at grotesque, gruesome scenes. I think I'll check it out.
Yeah, no, like, I will tell you this. When they happen, they will, like, if you watch any kind of, grotesque, film, like, you can watch, like, Hostel, or, anything that has blood and guts, like, you'll be like, oh my god. Like, when they happen in this film, they will catch you completely off guard to the point that you did not think you could be shocked that way.
Okay. All right.
I
So
look forward to that.
this is definitely your list, and since the three of us have not heard or not seen a lot of these, I'm gonna kind of bypass some of these things and open it up for this. Of like, is there any films that you feel could kind of be in this list of the best of the decade, so to speak, that you guys have seen? Anything kind of stick out or come to
From
mind?
2010 to now.
2010 to now.
Nothing really kind of sticks out too much. I mean, I'll let Shadow go first, though.
I don't know. I don't really watch a ton of movies, but I mean the ones that I have, I'd say maybe like Interstellar.
Okay.
Would be a good one.
I haven't seen that one, but I know that one was a definite.
It's another Nolan
cerebral
film.
kind of deal.
It's very cerebral,
Yeah,
and it was
Interstellar's on my
very
list of
decisive
things
in
to see.
in the fan base. Like, there's a lot of people that love it, and then there's a lot of people that didn't like it.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of like what else there could be, but
I know
Like I said, I
a
haven't
lot
watched
of
a
movies.
ton of movies.
A
A
lot of movies.
ton of movies.
I'm like bringing up lists that just try to throw names out there. Mad Max Fury Road, is that on your list? That came
To
out
watch,
during the
yes.
decade.
Believe it or not, I think the newer Aliens movies, I really like the story behind those.
Covenant and
Like,
Prometheus.
yes, both of those. I think they're within the decade.
Yes.
The how Ridley Scott is like telling the story with like David and a whole bunch of the other things. They predate a certain, like some of the other Alien movies.
The Social Network
is-
came out during the decade.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I like how it like the lore behind it. It was really the thing that drove me to see the movies. Even if a lot of people were like, "Oh, it was terrible," I was like, "I liked it. It was great. I like the lore though." So
I would agree with that because the original Alien, there was a lot of questions in that. I mean, the set pieces, the artwork that H.R. Giger did, still stick out of my mind. To see them try to go back and give a backstory to those set pieces, I thought was a nice thing about that.
yeah,
So,
when I was younger, a lot of artwork that H.R. Giger did like influenced me a lot. I was captivated by how he drew like a machine, like a combination of people and stuff. I was absolutely blown away. I've never seen anything like that since. And it really kind of like it tugged at the primal core of my brain of like, wow, what is this stuff? So
Yeah,
it's the reason why I like it.
Yeah, he's hands down my favorite artist. I guess for me, what I would throw out there is The Martian.
When you said
The
Ridley
Martian was a
Scott,
good
when
one.
he said Ridley Scott,
Oh,
that
yeah,
was the
for
first
sure.
movie I thought about was The Martian.
I mean, that's one.
It was one I left off my list, but like I said, I had to cut off somewhere.
Well, I mean, some of these I haven't seen, but the Martian really kind of sticks out to me, and I've only seen it like twice, I think. But it's just such a grounded story to me. So I don't know. Maybe it's. But
It was one of my favorites that came out that year. I think it was number 3 on my list.
for that year.
Yeah, that year.
No, it was a good one. All right.
I think I would add John Wick to this list too.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, for sure. One
Another
and two.
one I had to cut off.
What's your thoughts on John Wick?
So John Wick is one of those movies that it's got fantastic choreography. The story really blends in with the action really well, and it kind of goes back down to it kind of just feels like a full-on action movie, right? It doesn't take itself any more seriously than the fact that it is an action movie, and it was a movie made to be an action movie. And because of that, it's also helped Keanu Reeves' career just take off again.
Oh, yeah.
So I mean, I think that was a pretty, as far as like action movies go, I think that would be like a top 10 action movie of the decade at least.
Yeah, it'd be up there for me.
I
Because
could
John
definitely
Wick,
see
I
that.
have watched John Wick so many times.
It's such a breath of fresh air for the whole action genre.
just
Mhm.
Just in a lot of films, because it seems like we have so many films that are always retreading or rebooting or all this, and John Wick is just like, let's just do something different, and boom. So, all right.
The interactions between the characters, this guy is like badass,
Oh,
and
yeah.
they still try to stop him, and they're like, maybe if we do it this way, we won't die, and he's like, guess what, guys?
You
I'm
will.
not dead yet.
I still can't. I still think about that, and I think about that bit where the mob boss calls John Leguizamo's character. Is like, "You hit my son." He goes, "Yes, sir." Why? He stole John Wick's car. Oh. Enough said. Enough said.
Yeah,
Russian
it
mob
was one of my
boss is
favorite
scared by
scenes.
And
that.
killed his dog, and then killed his dog that his dead wife gave him.
Yeah, that was like one of my favorite scenes in that entire series. He just turns around and hits his son too.
It's like, you idiot! Do you know what you've
He's
done?
the boogeyman. He's the boogeyman. What have you done?
Oh, yeah. Alrighty. Well, with that, we're going to skip down and go right into State of Game so that we can get through some of the stuff for our usual usual ebb and flow because
Yeah.
you know running a little long, but that's okay. We're having a good time. I think you guys
Yeah.
having fun.
This is
Oh,
the
yeah,
end of the
absolutely.
decade show, so it's
Oh
okay.
yeah, this is gonna run long and give something
Special
give some good
edition.
stuff. All right, so for those who aren't aware, State of Game is the section of the show where we talk about the various games that we play, whether they be video games, tabletop games, or in my case, airsoft games. And we're gonna start off with some video game stuff, and for our guests, we'll let them have the floor first. Start with Graza. What games have you been up to, my friend?
Well, just basically still doing the SE survival server. We built a massive station in orbit for sort of a gathering for players to build at and collect resources and then spread out amongst the asteroid belts and stuff like that. I'm in the process currently of rebuilding the giant whale ship I made to kind of give it a more newer, fresher look, stuff like that. But it's been a lot of fun. We have there's a lot of shenanigans that go on, but we stream on Jack Churchill Jack Churchill VR on Twitch. So if you want to, on Sunday nights and Monday nights, on the I believe it's somewhere between 6:30 and 7:30 EST is when we start, and then from there we just go till whenever Jack gets tired.
And
But it's lots of fun.
this is Space Engineers, right?
That is correct.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Shadow, what about you? I know you do a lot of games. What you been up to on games?
So this past year has been filled with maybe 3 or 4 games total.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it hasn't really been heavy because I've kind of just been playing one series of games for most of the year. So if you guys haven't seen my streams, I stream a ton of Monster Hunter games. So games like Monster Hunter World, Monster Hunter World Iceborne, Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, those have kind of been the games that I've been sticking to for most of the year. And then on top of that, if I do break away from the genre, it's usually Minecraft, because it's just a great I'm waiting for stuff to happen at work and I need something chill to just kind of play type of game. Or if I'm playing anything beyond that, it's Rainbow Six Siege, or here recently it's been the new Call of Duty and the Halo Reach games.
Okay.
I guess it is a little bit more than 3 or 4, but I mean it hasn't been a wide array of games that I've been playing all year.
Yeah, it's ironic because when you look at a lot of the game research and sales or whatever, of all the games that come out, most of your hardcore gamers only pick up a handful of titles a year. Very rare. I mean, unless you're one of those, not to sound bad, but one of those oddities, like the dude that ran his gamer score to the top because he got every achievement in every game on Xbox.
That's kind of
Just a freak of nature.
dedication.
Yeah. I mean, it's dedication. What you said, Shadow. It's the same thing, but if you only get to a few games a year, then hey, I mean, Space Engineers. I don't know if you've had a chance to check that one out, but that one is definitely. If you're a Minecraft fan and want to just take it to a whole new world of weird, Space Engineers is your thing.
Weird. Not weird. Minecraft is weird.
You should come and join us sometime, Shadow. We'd be happy to have you.
I would have to purchase the game, definitely.
It's not very expensive. It's in the $20 to $30 range. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If
I'll
you
look
like
into
them,
it.
if you like in Minecraft and whatnot, the difference is there's that whole lack of gravity.
Well, when you're on planets, you have gravity, kind of, depending on what kind
I mean, when you play Minecraft in creative mode, there's no gravity. So
That's fair, and I'm one of those people. I hate creative mode. I never go into it. I'll do survival with no mobs, but I won't go creative.
I think
Not a Minecraft person. So
I was going to
just
say,
sit
I
and
think one of the
listen.
games that I'm actually getting ready to pick up though is a game called GTFO.
You know what's so ironic? I was just hearing about this game on one of my podcasts, and it does sound interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, it sounds fantastic.
Aside from the obvious joke with those letters, what is this game about?
It's like a.
It is a 4-person co-op survival horror shooter made by the guys who made the Payday games.
Well, all right then.
You've played the Payday games, haven't you?
I have not played Payday.
Basically, they're bank heist games.
I know what Payday is. I have it, but
Oh, yeah.
I've never played it.
It's
I
made by
always-
the
I always
original
screw up the mission.
creators,
I
not
always
the
end up
guys who are
messing up
currently
the-
working on it, but the original creators of the game.
Oh,
Is that the one? Is that the one where they have like you can have like some other people? It might be a completely different game, but it's like I think maybe it's a VR game where you're like going through some kind of haunted mansion, and people can like join in from like an app kind of like the Jackbox games and like open doors and move stuff and try to scare you and do jump scares and.
No, this
that
isn't
different?
that. I think you're
Oh,
thinking
okay.
something completely different. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. But that was I've seen some of that and that's pretty interesting. I can't remember.
I'll have to definitely keep my eye out on that. I know I spent a lot of time watching Gamers Little Playground and their playthroughs. But, any other games, guys?
I've been playing a lot of Stellaris. It's a classic 4X sandbox, but it's RTS. So instead of turn-based, it's real time, and you can still pause and stuff like that. But the level of customization in this game is off the charts. It's got a lot of species you can pick from, different types of civilizations you can begin with. You can pick from machine, lithoid, plantoid, mammalian, reptilian, musculoid. You can be a fungus. The possibilities are endless, and then you have the planet types and like, the travel and the technology. It is such a vibrant, like the base game is still very vibrant. You have a lot of stuff you can add to it, and I've been playing it for years, and I just keep coming back to it. So it's just it's a great thing to like kill time with as well.
Okay. Shadow, what about you?
Well, I've played Stellaris. I can agree with everything he said. It is a fantastic game, and it's one that every time they put out a new update, it just gets better.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
But beyond that, there hasn't been any other games this year.
Okay. All right. What about you, Ryan? I know you got some big news.
Big news! I just finished Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order as of yesterday.
I should know.
Oh, boys.
because I know
I'm looking
how
forward to that.
Ah!
Yep, I said Scuba. Once I finish, I'll give it to you to play on through. But yeah, I finished up last night, and I was kind of a relief. And I am glad I lowered down the difficulty level because that last act was really tough.
Oh. Gee. Now I feel a little intimidated.
Oh yeah, but it was.
You didn't when you were telling me about it earlier. You didn't tell me it dropped the difficulty level.
I
and
did
she
drop
was
the
still
difficulty.
kicking your butt.
Yeah, she was still kicking my butt, and I had max health, and I had to use all max health to take her out. And it definitely put the skills to the test of all the game mechanics when I was fighting her.
Oh joy! So
So.
yeah, I'm gonna definitely start my 2020 off with that game for a stream.
Oh yeah. But overall, the game was a fun ride. It had a very strong story, which I definitely enjoyed. But it did do that thing that I like, where it had a very strong story, but also allowed me to play the game.
Okay.
So it was like a 50-50 thing, like enough story, but just enough game time to blend in both. And it was an action adventure, so it felt like I was playing like a Tomb Raider game, but within the Star Wars universe, because you climbed around, you jump around, you have to be able to fight and use all the action mechanics that you get with becoming a Jedi in the game. So once you level up all your skills and you get to do all the force pulls and all that stuff, it really, once you master the skills along with the combat with the lightsaber, it does turn out to be a real good treat because you'll be able to fight in groups of 20.
Nice.
So.
Any other games on your list?
Well, with that one out of the way, I can definitely pull in Outer Worlds finally. And then, like I always do, I was thinking, oh, what game am I going to play? And then I open up the drawer, oh, wait, I have Days Gone. Maybe I'll start playing that game.
Yeah, there's a time for that.
But, other than that, I still got Borderlands 3.
Mm.
And Division 2 and Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
Yeah, I did a little time on Outer Worlds, but I haven't really. This past week I haven't done a whole lot. But so for the year, since Shadow and Graza kind of eluded their whole year of gaming, is I haven't really played a whole lot of games this year because of schedule and life.
Oh yeah.
But getting back into it, I mean, jumping into Outer Worlds, it felt good. Jumping back into a game, it felt good. Jumping back into streaming. So.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun times with some fun games this year.
But I got to admit, after watching the Halo play the last week, I'm like, I want to throw down some ODST and kind of see what's up with that. It's been a while since I played that game, and that's my favorite in the series.
Really?
Oh, it's such a great game.
ODST.
I never played ODST.
ODST is my favorite. I love the Master Chief story, don't get me wrong. But ODST is such a different kind of Halo game. It's because the Master Chief story is that very kind of typical hero against everything. I mean, it's the whole way it's just set up is like, this is your hero that no matter what is gonna be there at the end. Even with what they tried to do with Halo 5. And kind of that whole question about who's the hero, who's the villain between him and Locke.
Yeah.
It didn't take away from the fact that in the end, we all know John is going to be the guy standing at the end. With ODST, it's you're piecing together a mystery. Mm-hmm. So that's what I love about that story is you're piecing together this mystery of what happened while you were knocked out for the entire day. So,
and on top of that, it's got a more boots on the ground feel to it too,
exactly.
as opposed to Halo's big. It's like a space epic type style.
Yeah.
With like Master Chief.
Yeah, that's what I meant by that whole. He's the hero against all odds, and ODST. You're right, boots on the ground feel. I mean, it's gritty, and whatnot. So
closer to a military shooter. Is that what I'm getting?
No, it's.
It's.
Say again?
I would say it's more stealth based, actually. You really want to avoid a lot of firefights if you can.
Yeah, because firefights tend to attract more.
Yeah, and you're normally underprepared with things like ammo and stuff anyway, and equipment.
Were you about to say The Division?
Yes, there's actually a comparison between The Division and ODST.
Yeah, we played a lot of Division.
All right, you know how in Division you're trying to piece together how the dollar flu got at.
Yeah.
That's kind of like what you're doing as the rookie. You're piecing together what happened over the last 12 hours, and you just happen to jump into your other squad members as they go through that experience, as you're trying to piece together what happened. And then you have, so it's that mystery solving part. And like Shadow said, you want to avoid firefights because you think you get into a small firefight, it could turn into a larger firefight because these random groups will keep spawning and reappearing, and it's like, man, this sucks. Especially the further you get in the game, the more powerful the mobs get. But yeah,
I can say that I don't play too many FPS, but I've heard really good things about ODST.
Yeah. So, but that's pretty much for video games for me. Don't have any D&D games. I'm sorry.
It's all right. They'll come back around eventually.
Well, the airsoft crew that Shadow is a part of, we didn't meet because Ballahack had their Revelations 10. So I went out and did that because that was a big event, and it was big. It was the biggest event they've had. I mean, we had, no kidding, like 800 people on the field Saturday.
That's a lot.
It was crazy. But it was good times. As I was saying earlier, it's kind of a massive role play type thing. It's you have these role player NPCs that are giving out quests and dialogue, and you have these various factions. Going around, and they're trying to wheel and deal and complete these challenges, and then you have these biodomes that you have to get all up and running by the end, because that's the only way you'll survive and get the challenge coin that was printed out for this. all currency is in bottle caps. So if you're a Fallout fan, this is definitely there. But there's a lot of vibe for the classic Mad Max and Fallout, and then just some of these more modern elements. But I'll have video posted up on that for the Scuba Cam series of videos on our YouTube channel. So there's a whole lot more I could say to that because it was just a wild time.
It just sounds like it
Oh,
was.
but I do have a story. I have a story about a lollipop.
Lollipop. Okay, let's see what the lollipop delivers.
Okay, before you get started with the lollipop, just think of Rev as real life Fallout.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the easiest way to think of it.
I have got this
without the controller.
Without the controller.
Well,
okay.
I've got footage of a moment where you have a couple of role players discussing getting a crew together to go complete a quest.
Okay.
Well, there's these two newer players standing off to the side. Excuse me. And they're kind of arguing with these other two about who's going to go and who's not going to go.
Okay.
One of them pulls out his revolver on the first one. And is like, no, seriously, all right, whatever you say. He goes, all right, points the gun to his buddy and fires. And it's like, everybody's like, welcome to Rev. Because you don't know what's going to happen. So if you think Airsoft, if you go into Rev with the attitude of Airsoft is like Call of Duty or Rainbow Six or all of that, you're totally missing what this, because this is a totally different kind of game. But about the lollipop. So, a few weeks ago, we have this regular who's a sniper who was trying to shoot somebody from across the pond, and as he was leading his target, he hit me instead. Came up to me, attempted to hand me his rifle so I could shoot him back.
Okay.
And then proceeded to apologize for the next several times I saw him for shooting me.
Shoot.
Right? Sunday, he and his buddies are creeping through the north side of the field past the halfback bunker. I happen to be standing facing the MiG, and I feel a shot in the back through my plate carrier because this particular sniper got a recent upgrade to his rifle. Afterwards, he walks up to me and offers me the lollipop as an apology for shooting me in the back.
Okay.
Welcome to
Nice.
Because people wheeled and dealed at all kinds of things. But yeah, that was probably one of the better stories from Revelations was that lollipop.
Sour
amazing.
bubblegum. That's a good flavor.
I know. Warhead lollipop. Seriously. I
I've
was
never
like, all
seen.
right,
Okay.
I got your
Oh
number.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
I got your
worth
number
it.
for
That-
when
that's
I
worth
play.
that's worth a bullet in the back, I guess.
Yeah, one of the airsofters came out with a new mod called the full thrust kit.
Okay.
Normal BBs are 6mm plastic biodegradable BB. The full thrust kit is a 6.8, 6.2. It's a larger diameter, so it's a
Okay.
heavier weight, and it's a much heavier weight. Like it's 0.58 grams per. And at 100 feet, that actually pings. So it's like I felt that. It kind of sucked, but it was like really.
You got a lollipop.
I got a lollipop out of it.
Yeah.
I got a lot of great experiences from how nice the community is and whatnot. But man, anyways, so next as far as future looking, Agents of Short is supposed to meet this weekend, and I know you love that group.
Yeah, I love it. The champion of the shortness.
So I will make sure I have notes for when we come back in January and give you some play reports from Agents of Short.
Okay. I love it.
All right. So kind of running on time here. Let's roll into odds and ends. And just
All right.
Power through odds and ends, and then we'll shift over to our Patreon chat. Assuming you guys can, thank you for hanging out with us this far. I know it's running long, but
That's
this
all
is
good.
fun.
I'm
odds
having a
and
great
end-
time.
It's odds and ends, collection of random internet stories that we find and we're just going to kind of look through and give our knee-jerk reaction and opinions on.
Okay.
Quickly.
Sounds
So
great.
you guys
Got
are
it.
more than welcome to give your opinions on these stories as well. So we're going on basically just the headline and kind of going from there and have a little fun with it. A couple of sentences. So our first story: eating chilies cuts the risk of death from heart attack and stroke in a new study.
Reported on CNN Health. Yeah, so basically just eat a lot of chili so you don't die from a heart attack.
Yeah, I'll just
much it.
chuck that on my list of wine and dark chocolate.
Yeah, right.
No,
Let's combine it all. There you go.
It's the chili peppers, not chili.
The Chili Packers.
Chili peppers?
Yes, chili peppers. Apparently, the study was conducted in Italy, where they basically compared the death rate of 230,000 people, those who had a high chili intake, and those that didn't. Apparently, those with a higher chili intake did not die of heart attack.
Eat
That's
them
interesting.
chilies.
Oh, Italy. There you go. Combined with that, with the wine and the good cheese. Well,
Yeah, it makes sense now.
You know.
All coming
Mediterranean diet,
together.
man. That's
All
like
There you go.
Magnifique.
But yeah, this was just like, okay, so is there gonna be a rush on homegrown chili peppers now, or
We grow our own chilies. I guess I'm not gonna die from a heart attack.
I don't know. I don't normally do a lot of spicy food, but I do enjoy spicy food.
I love spicy food.
What about you guys? Spicy food, yay or nay?
It depends on the mood.
Okay.
Yeah, same, but I really do actually enjoy spicy. I can't have too much of it because my doctor is like, congratulations, you have GERD. Don't eat a lot of spicy. But if you do, here's some omeprazole, I'll take that.
All right. Our next one, which is good.
On to the next one.
Samuel L. Jackson is the new voice of Amazon Alexa.
As reported by IGN.
Oh, yeah.
I saw this. I did see this earlier in the week, and it's my favorite thing.
Amazing. I can't wait for him to read bedtime stories to my children as they listen.
Okay.
Yes.
And let's just add topping to the cake. Quote, from there, when you get this option, from there you'll be able to choose either a clean or explicit option. However, the more crass version of Jackson will cost you 99 cents for a limited time, then it will be raised to $4.99, end quote.
You know what? I'm actually good with that. From being thinking about kids and trying to keep that language and use proper language and not just dive right into swearing every third word.
Yeah, it's all
But
good.
it's also Sam Jackson. So,
Sam Jackson, you gotta have it. You gotta kind of have it. And I don't have kids, and
What an
it would just be
interesting end to the
hilarious.
year.
Say again?
You know, what an interesting end to the year. Now Alexa can, swear at you in Samuel L. Jackson's voice.
Be like,
I'm
be
just gonna
like-
wait for next year when it's oh god, what's his name? Morgan Freeman's voice.
Oh, there we go. I'd love that.
God
Yeah.
and the cursor. Round 2.
Yeah. Alrighty. Next one. Ed Sheeran, named Artist of the Decade, according to BBC.
According to BBC.
Who
Yep.
is this guy?
Ed Sheeran's
So
a very
the-
popular singer-songwriter in England, but he's also rose to the top very quickly because
This
of his
just
great
in.
songs.
Popular English singer, Artist of the Decade, according to English paper.
Yes.
That is my point.
Okay. Well, there was that one band that was really popular in England, and when they came across, they just blew everything out. So.
Yep.
One Direction.
Yeah, I heard a lot.
Oh! Ouch! Ow!
No.
I was going old. I was going the Beatles.
Yeah.
Ow!
Yeah.
Thank you, Ghost, for that zinger.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Great Britain gave us the Spice
You
Girls
got One
too.
Direction down.
Really?
Yes. Spice up your life.
No. The only
No.
time I ever want to hear Spice Girls is coming out of your mouth is when you're talking about the boys. That's it. Other than that, I don't want to hear about the Spice Girls anymore.
I was a fan.
Very much so.
Strong fan.
You know what? That doesn't surprise me. So, all right.
Next one. Moving on.
Marvel to officially shut down its TV division.
As reported on Collider. And then this was pretty much obviously coming from the get-go, especially when Kevin Feige became the head honcho over at Marvel and he started pushing for those TV shows on Disney Plus. You knew that the other division was going to go down.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping that maybe they would just merge it, but you know.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
I think it kind of makes sense considering that they're going to be doing everything on their streaming service now.
Yeah, but there are 5 shows that are going to still be in production from that TV studios.
Okay.
And those 5 are Hellstrom, the live-action Hellstrom, the animated Howard the Duck, Hit Monkey, Tiger and Dazzler Show, and MODOK will still be in production.
That's it's very interesting because I really like the Marvel Studio stuff, and it's also interesting to see how DC's TV versions of their things are more successful than their films, which is mind-boggling.
I don't really watch the DC TV shows, but I do know that they are popular. I will recognize that, and
I love the Flash. It's great.
And they have been, like you said, been able to stabilize their own kind of like world.
Yeah. Alrighty, and our last one for our odds and ends. Jack Black says he's retiring. Jumanji: The Next Level may be his final film.
As reported on IGN.
Gotta love IGN for great stories.
Yeah.
I heard this on my news feed all weekend, and you know, he's just an interesting guy as far as the roles he's done.
Yeah, Jack Black likes to play that variety game. So you have everything from School of Rock to dang it, I'm drawing a blank.
Nacho Libre.
Nacho Libre, and then
Tropic Thunder.
That was the one. It was a Tropic Thunder.
Tropic Thunder.
And then he kind of moved into more family-friendly films like House with the Clock in the Walls, The Goosebumps.
And don't forget the one thing that a lot of people like him for is Tenacious D.
Yes.
Oh yeah, Tenacious D.
Which I think is the whole reason behind him taking sort of a it might just be a short-term retirement, but yeah, I think he's going to focus on making more Tenacious D music.
Yeah, that could be it.
He also could be possibly doing his YouTube.
Plus he actually did comment about he's open to doing TV work, and honestly, I think that would be really cool to see him on the small screen in some kind of role, or whether it's to be a Netflix series or something like that. I think it'd be interesting.
Yeah, that is definitely.
He's definitely talented.
I would love to see Jack Black take a directing role in some of the some interesting movies. Either he finds something that's pretty interesting. I'd like to see his directive approach to different the film media, basically.
You know what? I think I'd be very curious to see that too.
Yeah, but it definitely sees him going to TV because a lot of big name actors have been going back to TV in the last few years. So it wouldn't surprise me.
There's nothing wrong with doing media via TV, especially with streaming becoming what it is. I mean, come on. There's no shortage of opportunity there.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff down there, especially one of the shows I'm watching right now on Netflix, Peaky Blinders, the head honcho, Cillian Murphy. And then you have, a couple cameos that pop up in there you didn't expect.
Okay. Well, when I think of Jack Black, I'm sorry, the first thing that comes to mind is Brutal Legend.
Yes.
I mean, I really wish there would be more to that series, but
rumor is it's getting a second one.
Huh?
Rumor is it's getting a second one.
Hell yeah. I'm looking forward to that.
Alright, so we covered all that. Let's go through our closing and our contact and give our thanks. And since we have our guests, we'll have them go first. So Shadow, why don't you tell us how we can find you on the interwebs and whatnot if we want to follow more of what shenanigans you're up to.
Well, I stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 7 p.m. to whenever I feel like stopping on Eastern Standard Time. You can find me there at twitch.tv/ShadowManes. Or you can find me on Twitter, which is just Twitter. How do they do it? It's twitter.com/ShadowManes as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. And Graza, how can people find you if they want to follow your gaming adventures? I know you mentioned it once before, but go ahead and give it to us again.
I stream with a friend. I don't actually stream by myself, but I do have a Twitch that I will eventually stream on. But for right now, I stream with my friend Jack_ChurchillVR on Twitch. And if you're interested in tweets, you can check out @V2Gaming on Twitter.
Alrighty. And Ry, what about you?
You can find me on Instagram at IncubusTribe. Message, send me a friend request.
Alrighty. So, okay, since I seem to have the longest script in this, let me start off by giving a shout out and a thank you to Sirenscape for providing the background music and soundboard that we utilize in our shows. I don't always seem to mention them. That's my bad. I'm going to try and be better about that. But go to Sirenscape.com and check them out. Great way to add immersive content to your game and take it to a new level. You could find me on the social medias at Scuba Cod, whether it's Twitch, Instagram, Mixer, YouTube, all those things. You can follow the show at. I have to scroll back up. Sorry. Okay. Well, it's a lot to go through. Don't give me the look. Don't look at me like that. All right. Facebook, you can follow the studio and the show on Facebook, facebook.com/Scuba Studio. Give us a like, check it out. We also have a Scuba and The Ry group where we have discussions about each of our episodes. You can check out the YouTube channel for Scuba Studio. That's where we post up the video content that we release. Also, if you like the show and want to support the show, you can go to patreon.com/Scuba Studio. Give us a like, check it out. Patreon members get exclusive content and early access to the stuff that we put out. If you want to send a suggestion, like, how can we torture Saladin next week, you can email us at scubastudio@gmail.com. Keep those suggestions flowing. And with that, we will see you all in 2020. So, and yes. Oh, the Scuba and The Ry show will return in 2020, right after New Year's.
There you go.
So, with that,
Advance Merry Christmas.
oh yes, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, spend the time with your families.
Indeed.
Christmas,
Enjoy.
New Year's, party time.
Don't get too drunk. Drink responsibly. Tip your waiters.
Orange drink, people. Orange drink.
Gotta love that orange drink.
Gotta love the orange drink.
Alrighty, and with that, wait for just one moment while we rotate this over to Patreon. Guys, stay on the line. We'll be right back with you. Do it.